Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name, as per usual, is Mr. Evil Dragon at Guxel. Welcome back, this time to Spain. The last couple of rounds of the season coming up, but joining me isn't Luke, it isn't Brent. I've got someone new today, and it is Noonie in the chat who will say hello now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having me along here, Evil. It's going to be a good night of racing, I think. We've got a classic track in Spain that we're racing at this evening, and we've got the drivers coming into the lobby, and we should be in for a good night of racing, I would have thought. What are your... yeah, this could be great. Could be really good stuff.
Yeah, of course, we've got a circuit which first was raced back in 1991. And remember, that is 30 years ago this year. It didn't race last... Well, it did race last year. It raced twice, I think, did it not? I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been so long. But it definitely raced last year. 30th year running, of course. A new layout was this year. We're running on the older layout, which no one likes, because you can't overtake. You can't overtake on the new one, to be fair. So, I don't know why they even bothered. But nonetheless, much dwelling on the circuit. It's a beautiful track, by the way, nonetheless. Of course. But what's your opinion on this fantastic circuit?
I think that over the years we've had some great racing here. I think over the years perhaps some of the racing is lacked in that little bit of a push that we need. The challenges for overtakes are apparent, but at the end of the day, the layout does really push the cars to the absolute limit. You've got three very different sectors around this track, particularly that last sector challenging the cars a little bit more technically, getting through the slow corners, that quick change of direction that you require, and has always been very difficult for the drivers as well, particularly towards the end of that lap. That slow left-right chicane just before the final corner has caught many a great driver out and ruined many a great lap as well. So in terms of the drama that the circuit can bring, it's certainly up there, but in terms of the quality of racing, perhaps sometimes lacking. But that run down to turn one is oh so crucial, isn't it, Evil?
Yeah, about 600 metres or something around that length. So it is going to be very interesting, especially running to turn one. Remember, of course, if you get turn one correct into the lead, you've also got to cover into turn three and not end up backwards in the gravel trap with a Mercedes on top of you. Not pointing fingers at a certain real-life race in 2016, which we also saw a first-time winner. Will we see a first-time winner here today? Well, it's always possible. Going and looking at last week's results, as I find which tab it is on my thing. It was... hang on, let's try and find it. Got to scroll through them all. It was Colin who won last week, because I have to scroll through 16 tabs to find which tab is correct. Claddy Balloons finished second, Koffner third, Casper in fourth, we had Cam in fifth, JM in sixth, Waitley in seventh, Neon eighth, Jonas ninth, Ritz 10th, Farf 11th, and Lam Prin 12th. Now, in terms of the standings, as I've sent it to you, do you want to read them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Casparo, very unfortunate in the last race, getting off the podium. Not very good for his title hunt, but still very much in the lead of the standings with a 21 point over last week's race winner in Colin. So good result there for the Williams driver in his hopeful hunt down of Finnish driver Casparo in P number 1 at the moment, our current points leader, but it's close, isn't it? That battle for second, absolutely brilliant, with JM69 P3 just 2 points behind Colin. So that win for Colin last time out, crucial in this battle for second, and obviously the hunt down for the hopeful top spot, taking that off Casparo. But you can't count out Cloudy Balloons as well. P4 at the moment, just a further 2 points back from the top 3 positions in the standing so far. We've got a bit of a gap then down, haven't we, to IRL Neon, who's only 1 point ahead of Cam Kaimon. I hope I've said that right. Cam, if you're watching this or listening to this later on, do feel free to send me how to pronounce your name or give me some hate, either one. We look forward to that. Kong Hoffner, obviously with that second place last time out as well, crucial for him, finally getting some decent points on the board, but down in 7th in the standings so far, Evil.
Yeah, down in 7th in the standings, of course, and it's Cam K, so you're pretty much close. That's how I always used to pronounce it back in the day. But yeah, Ali B further back, 3 points behind him. Got ST Match 2 points behind. So the battle, really, we've got kind of 3 or 4 battles. We've got the battle for the Silver Spoon, pretty much 7th downwards. They're all extremely close. 7th down to, you have to say, 13th, 14th position, all very close. Then you've got Waitley Goggs, who isn't here today, of course. Speed Risky, Farf, Bannister and Okiki, who's had a torrid start of the season because I keep cursing him every time he does anything. He's had a few mishaps this season, so he's hoping to get off to a clean couple of races as we go on. Looking onwards, though, by the way, to our rivalries, and in terms of podium, we've got Bannister and Rent both involved in an incident with a third driver who, of course, has got a race ban, and a fourth driver was caught up, and Rich saying, will Bannister think twice about competing and overtake legally going forward? And Bannister also talking about it as well. And let's go and scroll through and have a look, see if they put anything in for that. They did not respond to our hot and cold things. Unfortunately, we can't bring you that to our rivals, you say. By the way, for our hot and cold, we can talk about is Cam, who is very hot right now in more than one way. He's driving fantastically, and he's in a red Ferrari, which is a very nice looking car. He said, and he showed exactly what happens when a driver keeps their clean race, of course, and that late safety car, which of course was unfortunately bugged last week, cost a few issues. Of course, Rich was also cold. He started second last week, finished 10th. He is hoping for a clean race as well.
It's worth remembering as well, of course, Evil, that obviously Ali in the Haas took pole position last week, but didn't come away with any points, didn't finish in the top 12. So, you know, he'll be certainly hoping for a bit of a change around in fortunes in Spain, you would have thought. Perhaps another contender for pole position?
Well, it's always possible. And good to see, by the way, we've got our favourite Tazits working now, so good to see. We had a few scares earlier on, didn't we? But it's all set up, all fine, so that is good.
Well, qualifying gets underway then, of course. We've got 18 minutes to run around the circuit de Catalunya. As we all know, qualifying so important around this track. The front row normally leads to a good race result. Drivers who will be heading out onto the track shortly, all hoping to set that quick time to get them towards the top of the standings. And we've got a few drivers out there who will be particularly hoping to be on that top spot. But Evil, that run down to turn one, you've mentioned it a couple of times there. The slipstream is so vital, actually, to get down there. So is starting on pole really that important, or do you just need to be in that second or third spot to put yourself in a good position for a good run down into turn number one?
Well, personally, in my experience from commentating and from driving, it really depends on your setup. If you've got a car that is built for a straight line, of course, and built for the corners, which is important as well around here, but very much depending. Second and third normally can get historically good starts. We've seen it in the past at Run Hub and also in real life as well. We all remember Fernando Alonso got that incredible start back in 2011 as well. He also got a good start in 2013. So it's all about really getting the slipstream, breaking the toe. If you can get a good start around it and make sure you can't get overtaken by just managing to break the toe ever so slightly, you're in a good shout. If a driver tucks up right behind you in second and third, there's always a chance for some action in turn one. Luckily on this game, though, the slipstream sometimes can be a little bit inconsistent, so it'll all be about the start, really.
Yeah, well, it's a crucial start and a crucial first few laps. Of course, you've got to keep your nose clean. 50% race with 2 mandatory pit stops coming up as well. And there's a long race here, and a lot can happen over the laps and the course of the race. But we've got the first couple of runs starting to take place
so
now.
He's gone round right on thing, and I mentioned before the stream, I hope he doesn't crash. Well, he's almost put it in the wall already, so we're off to a good start there. Nonetheless, let's have a look through the rest of the thing. We've got 17 drivers. Sorry, that was Colin. My apologies, Kiki. I'm looking at the wrong driver. Nonetheless, Apex Rogue currently purple in Sector 1 with a 21.053, of course. This is quite an interesting section of the circuit. We're coming up to turn 8, and it's really, you have to hit this Apex perfectly, otherwise you are going to have a big off, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. And obviously, if you clip even the right-hand apex there wrong, it can spit you into the wall. And Apex Road got a McLaren wandering on the track in front of him, as also purple through the middle sector for the Renault driver. Climbing up the hill now in this long right-hander. The tyres at this point of the lap screaming out for the end to come, but they're not quite yet. And we've got this now tricky section on the right-hander. He clips a lot of that yellow curb, but he just about gets away with it. And just a couple of more corners to go now. And then we've got the run to the line. And what sort of lap time are we going to get from the Renault driver? The first representative lap time of the session, and it's 1 minute 15.3. So a good benchmark there for the rest of the drivers to pay attention to.
Yeah, that's good lap indeed. Lamprin sets himself P2. We've got Ali B on a lap as well. JM also on a lap flare. Currently purple, purple, purple. He's just gone quickest for 1:15.3. Looking at the other round, the Haas, and that is going to be an off in the wall. And I'm wondering, is he hitting the wall? Well, most certainly is. On board we are. And that is what remains of Ali B. And he has hit the wall heavily there. Luckily, he will be okay because this game doesn't simulate injuries. But a hard knock on the wall. They've got 2 knots on the inside curve. What we mentioned earlier on is Tech goes P1 there, a 1:13 to 1:15.366, puts him exactly 100,000th of a second quicker than JM. So Lee's top 2 incredibly close so far.
The top 3 incredibly close. The Renault's only separated by 6,000ths of a second as well there. So our top 3 having a great run of it so far. And the AlphaTauri of Lambie, I'm just going to call him that, it's going to be easier, just less than 2/10 back from the lead as well. So really tight at the top at the moment. We mentioned Ali B coming into the session as well, last time's pole sitter, but he's going to be starting from the back at best at the moment. So disaster for him. And we've got another yellow flag out there, but thankfully not another driver ending up in the wall. But as we start to get the first few runs out of the way, we've still got some big hitters to come as well. We've still got Casper coming around, but unfortunately for him, he's invalidated his lap. We've got Risky Racer coming around the last couple of corners as well. Speed Risky round the final corner. What sort of lap time is this going to be for him? He's not going to be challenging the top, but he puts himself in P8 there, Evil. But we've got the runs happen so far, and we've got a very competitive top 3.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with top 3. By the way, noticing Neon on the medium tyres. Now, in terms of strength today, we believe and the soft tyres will last around about 8 laps. Now, we do not know what the weather is so far for the race. We'll find out in due course, but we know right now it's overcast. So, Neon, if it is raining during the race, it will not matter what tyres you're on, but he set himself up for a good strategy. Now, medium tyres, ideally it'd be 13 laps on the mediums. It'd be a 2-stop medium and then 1 at the end for a set of soft tyres. The soft runners are going to be doing soft, and presumably it'll either be a set of hards or it'll be a double set of mediums to the end. So it really right now counts to where you're placing your chickens.
Yeah, certainly. We got Colin Mason just starting a lap as well in the Williams last time's race winner, of course. Currently sat second in the standings, of course, the Williams driver, wiggling his way through Sector 2 at the moment, coming through this critical part of the lap, which you said is so easy to get wrong. And as he heads his way through Cantor now and up to the back straight, he's kept it in the lines and he's kept it out of the wall. And so far, this is looking relatively good for Colin. And he's purple in the middle sector. We've still got 11 minutes to go in the session, but for the first lap for the Williams driver, this could be a really good gauntlet. And where is he going to mix it with our top few drivers? Casper has gone quickest on a 15.2, so giving himself a 10th and a half gap now to P number 2. But we've got Colin on an absolute flyer as he comes towards the line. Are we going to see a new provisional pole sitter? Yes, we are, on a 1 minute 15.1. Wow, that's a bit of a gauntlet for everyone else.
Yeah, 1:15.1 then, so straight away up the front there. A double green sector in sector 1 and 2, but hooked that last sector up. A purple by 0.4 of a second on the last sector, so incredibly quick so far. And now who is going to be the next two really looking challengers? We've got Casper, who down in second. He's on an in-lap right now. Let's see, we've got Kofner currently coming through turn 1 and 2 starting a lap. He should be coming in the pit lane in due course. Yeah, he's just finished, yeah. So, looks like he's on a in-lap. Looking through the rest of the field, who have we got to start setting one? I believe it might be the likes of Claddy Balloons, Rich, are all going to come out soon. 10 minutes to go in qualifying, so a few moments of coolness, a few moments of just wondering what's next. Tell you what, Cam's currently set a double green sector so far. He's currently down in P9 then for the last corner. Nice and smooth for the Ferrari driver, who said to me, Evil, I'm going to change my helmet from red for this race. Well, I can let you know, it's still red. So he hasn't changed it. Well, he's gone P8. He didn't improve by much, of course. He did set a 1 minute 15.6. So, exactly, by the way, which is always nice to see as well. So, a few drivers finding a few tenths of a second improved as he gets out the way for Risky in the other Ferrari as well. So, right now, it's Colin ahead of Casper. Tech in third, who's doing an incredible job right now for the Renault team. JM in fourth. Rogue in fifth, ahead of Jonas and Lamprin. And then Cam Konkofner Neon, Risky, Farf, Waitley, and we've got Ali B, who we expect to be starting last, but we can never say never, of course, because some drivers may or may not set lap times. You've seen it before, some prefer not to set laps.
We've got Jem through the middle sector at the moment, just gone purple, Evil. So the Haas driver fighting back his teammate found himself in a wall. And could we see his the other Haas provisionally on the front row?
Let's see then, through the last corner. It is a double green sector, of course, on the TAS. Let's see if it is indeed quick. Well, it's quicker, but not by enough. Only P3, but remember, though, a tenth of the second is pretty much all you need to get yourself right up the front, because 2 tenths, well, yeah, it's 15.269. It's a 15.114 for Pulse, so we're talking really about just over a tenth in a bit of a second, so it's so close between all the drivers. We got Tech up also on his lap time. Apex Rogue is just set at Purple's lap time sector as well, so let's have a look then for the Renault driver. Could this be Purple? Could this be Pole? Well, it is most certainly Pole. A 114.8. So it's more than just Pole. It's annihilation then. So 115.1 to a 114.8. That, you might have to say, has blown all predictions out of the water then so far.
Yeah, our first man into the 1:14. It's really good lap time from the Renault as his teammate now jumps up into P3 as well. So the Renault's starting to fight back a little bit on the remainder of the field, and everyone's going to have to take stock and come out and try and go at it again. We've got Casper just coming around the last corner. We've got IRL Neon popping up into third place, so good stuff from him. We're now watching the other racing point as he's beginning a lap, and let's see where he can jump himself up into. We get the privilege now of seeing him through the first sector, taking as much speed as he dares into the first couple of corners, setting himself nicely up and around through turn 3. The car really starting to come into its own then as he comes towards the end of the first sector, and I tell you what, he's going quicker than anyone so far. Purple through the first split on a 120 or a 21.0. He's locked up a little bit into turn number 5 and heading back down the hill at the moment. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3, but I think that's just a car getting out the way, so hopefully that shouldn't ruin what is starting out to be a great lap for Casper.
Let's see then, through Cancer Corner then, absolutely flat there, all the way on the throttle. DRS of his teammate who gets out of the way as well. A nice little bit of toe left, 3 temps up in sector 2. That's only a green, of course. A big twitch on the rear end on the exit. That might have cost him maybe a 10-4-2 as well. Through the exit this last couple of corners then, into the back end of the circuit. Down here, a little bit wide, keeps it nice and smooth, into third gear. But is he going to drop down in a second? He's going to keep further and get the traction on the exit. Can he get pole? Championship leader. Can he get on the front row? Can he get pole? The answer is only second. Just over a tenth behind pole position so far. But boy oh boy, are we in for a battle this race.
Yeah, we've got a second covering the top 13 at the moment. Really good stuff from the drivers out there at the moment, finding their feet well around this Spanish circuit, situated just on the outskirts of Barcelona, and we're in for a cracking race, it seems, with the drivers finding a bit of form, finding a bit of pace, and things really starting to narrow down. We've got Lambie just starting a lap, it seems, just coming through into turn number 3 at the moment. We'll see what his first split is. I don't know if he's made a bit of a mistake into the first couple of corners, because he's just down on himself, but perhaps he'll box and get that last run in. Casper's obviously on an in-lap at the moment. We've got Cloudy Balloons, who has just gone into P7. And we've got Kong Hoffner at the moment languishing down in P13, our sole McLaren for tonight. He's coming around the final corner at the moment, so is this going to be an improvement for the Danish driver? He comes across the line, it is an improvement, and he's up to P5 on a 115.1, and that's a bit more like it from the Danish man, putting himself up into P5.
Yeah, it's so close, especially down there from 13th. You only have to improve by a couple of attempts and you shoot up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions. So it's incredibly close right now. You've got the top, you can pretty much say the top guys all within. Let's have a look. You can see the top 8 within 5 tenths of a second. At the top 14, quite fittingly, is just a second, because Akiki 1 exact second off of pole position, which I must have to say is absolutely perfect from my view, by the way. I love when they're all exactly
the OCD,
one.
It's brilliant.
Oh, I know, it's perfect. So Kofner currently in the pit lanes. Well, he's just finished his lap. We've got Apex Road coming out on a lap. I suppose everyone's going to come on a lap now. Cloudy Balloons coming in the pit lane right now, so he bailed out of his lap time. So everyone now in the pit, but Apex Rogue, like I said, currently on provisional pole from Casper, Colin in third, Neon ahead of Con Kofner, JM ahead of Cloudy Balloons, Waitley ahead of Jonas Lamprin, ahead of Risky, Okiki ahead of Farf, Ali B, and Len Rit right down the back, still to set a lap time as well.
Yeah, we just got Colin just coming to the end of his out lap, starting a flying lap soon. Obviously, put that very quick lap time in a little bit earlier in qualifying. Hasn't been out for another run since. But he's going out for his last run now, just under 4 minutes left on the clock then. The Williams driver winding himself up for a lap, and let's take a chance to watch the whole lap with him then. As he's coming down the straight, you've got to pick that braking board on the left-hand side so well, about 70 metres before the corner, down through the gears, down into fourth, a little bit of a lock-up, but he carries the speed into turn number 2, and up the hill now through turn number 3. The Williams driver going through the gears, he's got a clean run in front of him. The next car is further around the track in turn 8, and he's a 10th up on his personal best through sector number 1, and not only that, but it's the purple first sector. So really good job so far from the Williams driver. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock. A lot of the drivers still in the pits, but Colin's going early. And in this tricky left-right section now, keep it in the white lines, which he just about does. Through Cancer now and onto the back straight. He's going to be looking for that DRS board. He hits it perfectly. And on the long run down now to turn number 10, how is he doing? He's still finding time, but not enough at the moment to put himself into provisional pole. Through the long left-hander now, the rear tyres crying out for mercy, but he's not giving them any. Into this tricky right-hander now, keep off that inside right curb, which he does. Through the chicane now, just a couple more corners to go. Are we going to see an improvement for Colin? And if so, by how much? Is he going to jump up from P3 on the road at the moment? He comes to the line. It's good enough for second as he displaces our championship leader.
Yeah, 85,000 off the pole then, so displaces his rival then by some 30 thousandths of a second. So everyone very close. We've got Apex Rogue. He's up in sector 1, by the way. It's a green sector for him. Will pretty much be the purple of the session because he is the quickest man in this session. Down into the second sector, out of cancel then, into turn number 10. It's up by a tenth and a bit then in sector 2. Nice and smooth on the exit. Into the left, right we go then, into the little kink. Float it through on the right, over the bump then, let the car run out wide, use all the road on the exit, take into the last couple of corners, bounce over the chicane once, bounce over the chicane the second and third time then, make sure you hook it up, nice and smooth for here, third gear, blast it through the last corner then, out the last corner, let's see, should be going to have 114.7, is a 114.7, so let's see, is anyone possibly going to be able to retaliate from that one? Waitley goes up to P4 then in the Alfa Romeo, so incredibly good performance for him. Next across the line, it should be one of the Williams. That's Okiki coming into the pit lane. Next up, it is one of the Red Bulls. It might be Jonas Len on an out lap. It is. Behind them, we've got one of the Hasses. It'll be JM. Then we've got, of course, Colin behind as well. He is on a in lap and is the last lap in qualifying for him. We've got, I believe it's Risky on an out lap as well. So a few people on their out laps, a few people on their laps.
Evo, look at Tech 31. He's found 2.5 tenths so far through the first couple of sectors. He's down in P7 at the moment, but he's finding time.
He is finding time. Let's have a look then on the Taz, and it is certainly a green then, so let's see what he can do. For the last corner, getting horribly held up by the McLaren though, the dirty air washing all over him. Can this go and put him up on the front area though? It's P5. I think he's not going to be best pleased though. He did get held up a little bit by Con Kofner, who was starting a lap time. That is what can happen, of course, in these types of races. Of course, we've got, let's have a look at Apex Rogue. He's on a in-lap right now. So he's on that one. Who's next across the line then? So
Evo, look, guess who's finding time? Our championship leader, Casper's gone purple in Sector 1.
Well, indeed, he has gone purple in Sector 1. Let's have a look, Len. It's, yeah, it is most certainly purple even on the Taz. So 21,000, a bit of a wobble alone. That's going to cost him a few milliseconds. What can he do though in Sector 2? Down by 31,000, so it was up by 21,000. Now he loses 10 thousandths more, and well, I say 10 thousand more, he's lost 31 thousandths more than he was a few moments ago then. So a small mistake for the last couple of corners. Can he find anything? Down in 5th position. JM's improved, by the way. He's up into 4th. Colin in 3rd. Neon in 2nd. Expecting him to cross the line in a few moments' time. Let's see what can the championship leader do. And it is pole position then. Found a huge amount of time in Sector 2. Neon not on a lap. Who else is on a lap potentially? Kofner isn't. Cloudy balloons through the last couple of corners. What can the Red Bull driver do then? Through he comes. Is he going to manage to find any time in that Red Bull car? He needs to beat a 1 minute 14. I don't think it's going to do that enough. Stays down there. We've got Cam down in crossing the line now. He's currently 13th. Would love to be in the top 7. Is in the top 7.
That last sector from Casper was absolutely sublime. It was over a tenth faster than the next quickest final sector from everyone. We saw how much time that he lost in that middle sector, that little wobble through Cancer, and he still came out with a final sector like that. Hats off to you, son. That's why he's our championship leader. That's why he's got a 21-point advantage. And the Racing Point driver has just laid down a serious gauntlet for the remainder of this season, and he's not going to be letting up anytime soon.
Yeah, he wants that ultimate pole position. And by the way, whilst we're here, we've got a performance to go in qualifying, as qualifying is over. Now announced to set a lap time. We can go through. So Casper on pole, Rogan second, Neon third, Colin ahead of JM, Waitley ahead of Cam, Tech ahead of Konkofner, Clanny Balloons ahead of Risky, Jonas ahead of Lamperin, Okiki, Farf, Alibi and Rich. All 3 of those drivers did not set lap time. So that is very interesting, isn't it? That seeing 3 drivers, of course, 1 in the wall, the other 2 didn't even set a lap time.
Yeah, perhaps thinking about the tyres for the race, maybe that rain, we don't know if it's coming or not. Perhaps if it isn't, they're thinking about having those fresh tyres for the race. So that could be crucial for their strategy, perhaps, and what they're thinking. But they're in the pack, and we all know it's much more difficult to keep out of trouble when you're in the mid or the back of the pack than it is when you're nicely out front with a bit of clean space in front of you.
Indeed, whilst we are waiting for the session to begin, we have to go through our sponsors, partners, and our collaboration, as I can't pronounce it really quickly today. So our sponsors, of course, Next Level Racing, sponsors of the league, providing a GT Light cockpit as a prize to our giveaway winner. Liam RBS, sponsors of our trophies list season, which are absolutely beautiful, by the way, as well. And don't forget to follow his tweets at Liam RBS as well. Also, thank you to our sponsor, 3M Sim Racing. They are sponsors of the league, providing a pair of their sim racing glove to the driver, the most pole position. Could it be Casper? Who knows? As well, and the most fastest laps as well. And also to our partners, Vespertine. Partners with Vespertine, who supports our championship prizes. And ERT, of course, the Going Gets Tough award. And by the way, if you want 20% off the time to print as well, you can by using in their SD store the code OneHubRacing. That is OneHubRacing, all capital letters as well. And again, that is our sponsors over, and I'm getting used to doing them despite saying them too quickly probably every time.
I think you get in there.
I think that might be.
It's only a couple of races in, but you get in there. And practice makes perfect, they say, don't they?
It most certainly does. And talking about practice makes perfect, it's all going to be about who has been practicing the most around this circuit, because it is a dry race, of course. We have been told in the chat by some of the drivers that got Alpha saying a dry race. So it's all really going to be quite crucial. The run down to turn 1, like we mentioned earlier, can play a massive part into this if you manage to get a toe. Watch out for 3rd position. That's going to be Neon as well. Colin as well. These 2 drivers are going to be trying to get a double toe in someone. And we've seen before, 4 wide moments as now Okiki is readied up. That means everyone can ready up, and no one is going to get a penalty because no one readied up before the championship leader as well. So that's all good to see.
Yep, good stuff. 15 seconds for the drivers to get comfortable, get ready for the race. Evil, which way do you see this one going?
Well, it's always a possibility. I'm always one with saying predictions, and as per usual when I do, everything goes horribly wrong for who I say. So let's just hope, for everyone's sake, I don't curse them. But I've got to say, Casper has a good shot at taking another victory today. So if he doesn't, he can blame me today. In terms of our tyres, by the way, let's have a little look, see who's starting on what. So the top 11 all on soft tyres. We've got 12 down on the medium, so those guys are going to be going to around about lap 13. Everyone else on the soft going to around about lap 6/7. There you can see Lee telemetry saying as well down there for a soft, medium, hard strategy. We believe most drivers will be setting either a soft, medium, medium, or medium, medium, soft.
Yeah, well, we've got an interesting 33 laps in front of us. So join us over the next 50 minutes, roughly. Well, we should have some good racing out on track there. Spain, as we said before, does normally make it difficult for overtakes, but we should be in for a treat here nonetheless. That qualifying was so close. Drive two times, just over a second difference between all of them at the end of qualifying. That top 13, 14 drivers that we had going out the second times, absolutely brilliant. And small gaps as well in between each runner too, which is exactly what we want to see. Apart from Casper setting that absolutely sublime time right at the death of qualifying, Rogue was in the pits. He thought he'd done enough, but the Renault driver was proven wrong by our championship leader. As we come towards the end of this formation lap there, drivers will be thinking through themselves about what's going on, and we seem to have had a couple of disqualifications as well.
Yes.
Eva, I'm not quite sure what's happened to Lamy and Okiki.
Well, they must have collided somewhere. That's all I can imagine. Well, that is the only way you can do that, unless you binned it in the wall somewhere. But as a thought, not to worry, though. They might just be sitting on the grid a few moments and pondering thoughtfully of what they've done. They're in the naughty step. That's what I always call it. They get disqualified on formation lap, they get in the naughty corner. But don't worry, the leaders are coming around the last corner. We'll get a race started in a minute. On board we go, and you can see our two naughty boy there, 14th and 13th right there, as they go through the Williams and the AlphaTauri then, as well as your top two then crosses to the line to get on their grid. Just waiting for Rich down the back, who's taking his jolly good time in the Mercedes, and now he finds that last grid slot right about now as he just slots it in to 17th position. So the one down to turn number one, so crucial around here in Catalonia. The question is, who is possibly going to lead down to turn number one? Well, we have the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and when they're off, we're underway then here in Catalonia, and it's lights up. And away we go then. Good start from Casper, good start from Rogue. But what's up behind then? As we starting to see then a few drivers. But look, there is the other Racing Point trying to squeeze one to the inside. Colin as well, can't quite do it. But Racing Point leads 1-2 then. Neil on the outside, getting squeezed out the apex. Rogue getting installed the car. He's got a car off the road there. Off goes Colin a little bit wide as well in turn number 3. Well, another car off as well, one of the Red Bulls. That looks like Ali B, who's had a shocker of a start. Shocker qualifying, shocker of a start so far in this race. As behind them there, they've got the Ferrari trying to slither up the inside of one of the Renaults. We've got that's Cam Tekka just ahead of them there, almost free abreast then as they come up towards turn number 7 right now. As Camke, Konkovner and Waitley all go at hammer and tong. Luckily, no one seems to have tripped over each other too much, apart from Ali B so far at the start of this race.
Yeah, I think Ali B unfortunately made a little bit of contact with Jonas, who's lost 4 places himself at the start, but really crucial for Racing Point to get that 1-2 sorted at the moment, this stage of the race. This gives them complete control now over the strategy and over the way they play the drivers behind them. But really good racing throughout the field, kept it nice and clean. We saw some great moves down into turn number 5 as well, and we saw Rogue get squeezed out, of course, on the exit of turn number 2, which nearly cost him to JM, but didn't in the end, and he was able to keep hold of P3 at the moment. And if we got something happened to Casper, he's off of my. That's
just a little telemetry glitch. It's fine. He's still leading. Don't worry. He's not died. It happened. You'll get used to it.
Small telemetry in the pits, though.
Yeah, he's damaged the car. Oh, we've got a car off. Is that a Red Bull? It is a Red Bull. It's Claddy Balloons. And what's happened to him? He's gone and dropped it. Well, he's either dropped it or he's been tagged around in turn number 1. But yeah, so damage For Waitley, he had 38 damage, which is very much, you need to stop for a new nose there. He lost the entire front left end plate, so unfortunate for him as we're just getting ready for the telemetry, which will amend itself in a minute. There we go. So Casper in second position, which is the lead of this race. Not to worry. Waitley isn't leading this race, but Casper most certainly is by a kind of margin right now, to be fair, so far. From Neon in second, Rogan third, JM ahead of Colin. Then we've got Tech, Cam, and Lencon Kofner. Further down the rest of the field, by the way, we've got a few drivers trying to make moves. We've got Jonas down there in 14th position. He's trying to get past Rich. And right now, it's all about tyre conservation, really, for your top, really, drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the stage where they've got to keep their tyres in check. They've got to try and get these as long as they can to minimise the next couple of stints that they've got. And if they have to pit early, then that's just going to make the next few stints even more difficult. But we got Colin, who's really on a move at the moment. He lost a place at the start to JM, the Williams driver, who was looking very good at the early stages of qualifying. But look at that gap out the front. Already over a second between the top two. Casper's got himself out of DRS threat from his teammate.
Yeah, indeed, he most certainly has. Meanwhile, Jonas has got past Rich, so Jonas up through the field. Ali B also trying to come through the field, but not doing that's not going to help. The dirty air and the rush from the rear end of these Formula 1 cars, incredible around this circuit. But like you said, yeah, Casper, 1.1 seconds. He's already broken DRS. Is he doing the old Sebastian Vettel movement from the olden days in 2013, where he just broke the DRS and disappeared off to the sunset? Well, we'll find out, but we've got a long race to come ahead of us. A few drivers, by the way, down the field, and we've already got started to see this thing. The famous DRS train is back.
Back with a vengeance, it seems, isn't it? I mean, you know, we've got pretty much everyone between second and seventh are all in DRS for each other. Tech just sort of hovering a little bit there on the DRS, and then a few further back as well. But interestingly, JM's fallen out of DRS from Rogue in front, and this could be the opportunity that Colin needs, and he senses it. He's going for overtake and DRS. Are we going to see a move down into turn number one? The Williams on the Haas. They're normally found at the back of the grid, but here they are fighting over fourth place, and round the outside goes Colin, and up back into P4, which is where he started.
Yeah, incredible good move, Len. So right round the outside. Exactly what he wanted to do. Meanwhile, I was looking at Ali B down the back as well on the timing screen. He's just got past Rich as well, so up a few positions. Big winner so far in this race. That's Farf. He's up 6 positions. He has got himself a, I think...
we got Cam Kai, sorry to butt in there, Eva. We've got Cam Kai all over Tech. Tech made a mistake coming through turn number 4, gone out on the grass, and that almost gave an opportunity for the Ferrari into turn number 5, but certainly into turn 10, we should see an easy pass for 6th place. Yeah,
Lamprin, by the way, just as well, went off just on cue, so a sudden scram through the order to see who was going what, but like you mentioned there, a small mistake right there. Cam did not get past anyone just then, so whatever happened, I presumably Lamprin's gone wide out of turn 3 into 4, got it on the grass and swapped around, so that's what presumably has happened to him, I imagine, from experience around that circuit, as now we're starting to see...
Cam Kai in the pits.
Yeah, we're in the pits, that's early. Yeah, that 5, we've got also...
we've got JM as well. JM's in the pits too.
Undercut strategy, and has Lamprin gone off again? He has gone off again, hasn't he? And oh dear, has he hit the wall as well? I'm wondering. Let's see. I think that's no damage. So he's dropped it twice. We've seen this before, and he's on those medium tyres. And you've got to say, those tyres right now are going to be shot. So that is going to be, basically, those tyres are going to be done. So he's going to have to presumably just hope for the best right now. A set of hards on. And you can see Cam's ahead.
Going wide away again. Don't believe it. He needs to sort out his turn 4. He's just gone wide again, and that's put Kong Hoffner all over the back of him now.
Well, let's see then. Kong Hoffner then in the slipstream up towards turn number 8. You can just see though through this corner. Getting closed is one thing, passing is another, because look at these swaths of understeer and oversteer. They've all got absolutely no grip out there in the DRS. Looking back, by the way, you can see Farf and Speed risky there, as you can just see ahead. That Tech has got really, looks like no confidence right now. I'm wondering if these guys are going to come in the pit lane just to try and cover off the likes of Cam and all that. Well, let's have a look on the thing. Are we going to see anyone on the pit lane? It looks like Neon in the pit lane. Yeah, Neon. Are we going to see any of these drivers? Yeah, they're all coming in now, aren't they? You can see 1, 2, 3 of them. We got looks like one staying out. That looked like it was Farf. So quite a few drivers deciding they want to try and look down the field. And let's have a look then at JM and see, is he going to jump any of these drivers? That's going to be crucial then. Out of the last corner, needs to hopefully try and find one or two of them. He might not get the rating point. He might get the Williams though. It's going to be awfully close. And he is going to get the Williams then, so he is ahead. Yet again, Cam, by the way, is going to jump up a few positions as well.
Yeah, Cam, real winner there, getting ahead of Tech, who was obviously just starting to hold him up. And that can release him now into try and compete in what is effectively the battle for P2 in front of him. Neon obviously second before the pit stops. That place is currently taken by Apex Rogue. And then we got Colin, who was in that battle as well. Lost a place to JM. And now Camkai can try and catch up with them as well.
There we can, Ali B. Meanwhile, up to 6th position right now, out of position from earlier on. He's had a few mistakes so far in this race. He's still got to stop as well. So everyone, well, quite a few people already have set their first stops already. You can see Knife downward. Speed Risky down there in 15th position. It's just been overtaken, we believe. Lamprint also yet to come in the pit. So a few drivers still to come in the pit lane, but we're not expecting any of these guys. But talking about pit stops, Casper, and in comes Apex Rogue. And let's see then. It should come out in the lead of this race then. The pair of them, to be fair, they were miles clear of the likes of Neon. So let's see how close Neon can get. He might jump the Renault. He should theoretically jump the Renault of Apex Rogue. That's going to be awfully close down into turn number 1. Then let's see, is Rogue going to have a little opportunity in the brakes then? Doesn't quite do it. In fact, rushes out because of the oversteer on the exit of the corner. Behind them, JM and Colin bite behind as well. Behind Lem, we've got Cam Tech, and then we've got Con Kofner and Speed Redsky. So load free starting to close up as well. But like you mentioned, looks like Tech having a few issues right now in this race.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling. He's got Kong Hoffner, of course, all over his tail. Wondered if we'd see the McLaren dart up the inside into turn number 5, but he thought better of it. So the top 6 still yet to pit. So that's going to be interesting to see how that develops as we get the racing point start to close in on them. And talking about closing in on the racing point, Rogue is looking like he's trying to come back at Neon down to turn number 10. He can't do it. Further back, Colin thinking about it, but just can't get the commitment on the brakes. Get up the inside of the number 69 has.
My apologies by to JM, because he has already stopped. So I misplaced him saying he hadn't stopped yet. Well, in fact, he most certainly has stopped, because he stopped right early on, of course, as well. So he is in what will end up being, I think, around about 4th, 5th position.
He's in P4 at the moment.
Yeah, I think he is, isn't he? Yeah. So unless we're very much mistaken, a few drivers can jump with an overcut strategy, which is always possible, of course. The overcut strategy. Remember, everyone's still yet to stop in this race. We have a little bit of a train right now with Neon, Rogue, JM, Colin. Behind them, we've got Cam on his own. Then we've got Tech, Kofner, Speed Risky, and Lamprin further down the back of the field ahead of Waitley right down the back. So up we go then to this battle. Apex Rogue. Now he's more looking back, as I imagine, than forwards, because you can see, looks like Neon's got himself a little bit of a buffer right now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has, and they'll be starting to get frustrated in this little train between each other. Someone else is getting very frustrated, Kong Hoffner. He must be seething in that cockpit that he can't find a way past that Renault. But back to the battle for a net P2, and it's still as they were then through turn 10. Looking further back, are we going to see Hoffner put a move? No, we can't. So it's still as they were then as this race starts to settle down, as we get into the second stint in this race. Obviously we've still got another pit stop to come for these drivers. And are we going to see any moves into turn 1? And Colin's getting really racy on the back of that hat, still evil, and he can't find a way past at the moment. Yeah, meanwhile, Annie B slithering up the inside to turn number 1. Then as he gets past that, Akiki in 4th, Casper in 5th, Rich in 6th position, Neon currently in 7th, have Apex Rogue in 8th, just ahead still of JM, who is all over his rear end. He says, I want to this position. Cloudy Balloons, meanwhile, has just come in for a pit stop as well. By the way, in terms of damage, only one driver has damage, that being Waitley earlier on. He's the only one with damage because he had the tyre mark. So that must have been what happened to Lampert. He must have dropped it on the exit of turn 3. That must have what happened then. So we of course, we can't have a look at it, but that's what we believe from the tyre marks. But again, looking through the field, you've got a few drivers, I imagine, bubbling some frustrations right now.
none so as much as the likes of JM, Apex Rogue, who are all kind of just stuck in a DRS zone right now, and they just can't find any positions any time.
No, and it seems as well JM is using a lot of his battery at the moment in a little bit of defence and, of course, attack. Colin, a little bit behind, got nearly over double the amount of battery that the Haas in front has. So Colin sitting pretty at the moment. Rogue still got a good level of battery, but we've got now Neon all over the back of Rich, who's going to have DRS then, of course, which is going to help him defend from the cars behind, which is a nightmare and not what Rogue wants to be hearing. But great news for Neon and keeping them and retaining this net racing point 1-2.
Yeah, Rich, meanwhile, has just come out the pit lane. A little bit naughty there in my books, because he just went over the white line, and the game will tell you off for that. So, he might get himself in a lot of trouble right there, but nonetheless, I'll glance over it because he hasn't got himself a penalty, but he might get himself in some trouble if he does it too many times, because the stewards tend to be quite strict on this game with that type of stuff.
Yeah, Rich was just getting out of the way of the cars that were passing him, so he wasn't coming out the pits there as such. So, yeah, the Mercedes driver just making sure he kept out of the way of the battle he wasn't involved in.
Ah, well, most certainly. And then he did say he has stopped, I believe. No, he hasn't stopped. So, whatever happened then, I'm very much mistaken. But thank you for correcting me there. So, whatever's happened to Rich then? Because you definitely got out of the way of someone because he suddenly dropped a load of positions. So, on my timing screen, Tech has just got himself a 3-second time penalty. By the way, Konkofner has finally got ahead of him. So, we've been talking about all this stuff and we've missed an overtake. So, that's always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's always the way. Konkofner finally relieving his frustration, stuck inspecting the back of the Renault rear wing, and can now set his sights on a Ferrari rear wing instead. I'd say that was a bit of an upgrade on his part. But we've got Apex, who could probably... He's almost at the point of being able to change gear in a racing point at the moment. He's all over the back of the nicknamed Pink Mercedes and just cannot find a way through. So frustrating for him. And JM and Colin have given each other a little bit of a gap now as well. Perhaps we're heading into a tyre conservation stage. As we've got a Ferrari off, we've got Risky, who's off on the exit of turn number 3, and he's out of the race. Our first retiree then, and we have a virtual safety car. Now, for those who haven't stopped yet, like the likes of Farth and Ali, and Jonas for that matter as well, this could be very useful for them if it stays out long enough. But they're only just coming to the end of Sector 2 at the moment, so it might not be with them for enough time that they need. This could be brilliant news for the Mercedes, the Haas and the Red Bull if it stays out for long enough. You've got to remember that, of course. DRS is disabled temporarily while we're in the virtual safety car, and once that goes back in and we're green flag racing again, it will be enabled immediately. We've got Farth then coming round the final corner. Does he choose to pit? He stays out. He's on the mediums. Ali is pitted. He's taken this opportunity, making the most of the virtual safety car. Jonas comes into the pits as well. We are still under virtual safety car conditions, but I don't know why Farth didn't pit. And it's in now when we're on the race.
Apex Rogue has just got himself a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC as well. And now he's going to have to cover because here comes JM, who's going to say, thank you very much for that small mistake. I'm going to go right around the outside. Can he do it? No, he can't. Again, great defending there from Apex Rogue, who then gets himself another 3-second time penalty for good cause. So it's all unravelled here. And now the exit the corner. Now around the outside then into turn number 4. Won't do it around the outside there. Might try the old switcheroo then. And let's see now back to the outside again then. Can he go the long way around the outside of turn number 5? That's going to be bravely squeezed all out of road. And indeed out of road he goes. Into the gravel. I don't think he meant to do that there. They just look like they just came together inopportunistically there. Colin though says, thank you very much sunshine, I'll take 2.
Brilliant stuff. Great racing up until the pinnacle moment where they just ran out a little bit of road by side, corner after corner. Great stuff from the Renault and the Haas, but unfortunately for them it did come to blows a little bit in the end. Both of them seem to have got away without any damage, but they have certainly lost out on track position as Colin, as you rightfully said there, opportunistic or what, slivers past the both of them and up into a net P3. Yeah,
Colin's up there. I suspected Apex or Godulus to come straight in the pit lane. He is going to be probably fuming with that penalty there. It's so easy to do, of course. You just put the throttle on just a millisecond too early, and there he goes. Penalty. By the way, Farth in the pit lane, that I have to say has absolutely ruined his strategy, because look where he's going to come out compared to everyone else he was battling with. He's going to come out behind them.
I don't get why he didn't pit. Ali's come into the pits and he's put back on the mediums again. I just don't understand it. I don't know what he was thinking. That was a golden opportunity, considering he was at the lead of that little pack as well, to not lose too much time in a pit stop. He'll be gutted with that one when he watches this back and sees just how much time he lost, because he was a good few seconds ahead of Ali and now finds himself nearly a second behind, and with penalties as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do right now. Meanwhile, talking about people who still want to come in the stops, by the way, Rain for Rich, he's currently on lap 13. He should, we believe, come in on this lap. Well, he most certainly probably will be wanting to soon, because, oh, we got a car off. Is that Waitley? It might be Waitley off. Let's see, he got that, yeah, damaged front left end plate lens, so front right and left, so he snapped that into the wall. That's most likely, that'll be dropping on the curb, I imagine, wouldn't it?
Yeah, dropped it on the curb and lit up the rears, and unfortunately for him, there was only one place he was going after that, and that was into the barrier.
Meanwhile, in comes the JM. Let's see. So that's early. Has he got damage or something we've not seen? Doesn't look like it.
Oh, we got moves further back. Sorry to interrupt you there, Evil, but we got moves, and we got Tech 31, Rich and Kong Hoffner all going at it on the run down into turn 1, and Kong Hoffner now up into P5.
Yeah, most certainly indeed. Just looking there, doesn't look like anyone's got any damage either, so I'm not quite sure. Ali B then. Not Ali B, JM in the pit lane, or someone in the pit lane. I've forgotten off the top of my head already. It's just disappeared like a vanishing act. But nonetheless, then, we've still got Rich to come in the pit lane. He's getting overtaken by Konkofner around the outside. No, that's Tech going around the outside. I'm getting everything mixed up today, aren't I? Nonetheless.
Interesting to say that. JM hasn't changed tyres. I'm wondering if he also picked up a drive-through penalty at that incident that Rogue also had, and he did get a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC as well, unseen by us, but JM choosing to serve that drive-through penalty one lap later, and he's got ahead of Rogue.
Well, you might have to say that is that's very optimistic. I don't know how he's done that. I mean, he was in a train of cars, so it's always possible with the slipstream he's got that because of that, so that is very bizarre. But yeah, good spotting again there, my good friend. Meanwhile, looks like Rich is behind his colleague Farf. Of course, Rich is get to stop that 15. So I'm guessing, is he going to try and stretch this and do a double set of soft tyres? That's always a possibility then. Those Red Bull tyres are a fan favourite of quite a few drivers. Not a lot of action going on through the field, by the way. Although we can just say, by the way, Casper still leads this race. The prophecy's still correct, by the way. I said he might win this race. Well, he's still leading it. So there's still, 17 laps for him to throw it away for me to curse him. We've got Colin, by the way. I do just notice he's caught right up to this. Cam, by the way, doing an incredible job so far. I'm into 4th position. Outstanding, by the way, the driver so far of this day, because he is, if I'm not mistaken, up quite a few positions, is he not? Let's have a look. Up 3 positions. Look, you have to look down the likes of Farf, up 8 positions as well. Rich up 9th, but he's to come in the pit lane. Alibi as well, but very good showing from Cam, who's been struggling the last couple of races. He's been down in the mid-pack, getting himself in trouble. So now he's got some clean air. Is he starting to come alive a little bit?
Yeah, we've got the front 3 as well. Just starting to gap everyone else. You mentioned Cam there. Really good job from him so far in the Ferrari up in P4. But we've got the top 3. The gap stabilising between the 3 of them. It's constantly staying around 2 seconds.
We got the car off. That's a Mercedes.
Off. We've got Farf off. He had such a good opening stint to this race. But unfortunately, he's undone it all with an off at the exit turn number 2 and coming into turn number 3. And the Mercedes driver down in P12 now. So disastrous for him. But going back to the top 3 then, they're gapping everyone else behind. The gaps are staying relatively the same. And it's interesting, I think, that Neon's running more wing, because in that middle sector, he definitely eats into Casper's advantage and loses a bit of time to Colin behind him.
And so it's a possibility, alternating strategies there as Waitley. Fast lap of this race so far. He might be down the back, but he's not giving up. He's going fast. That is, so far, 1 point to him. Well, it's the only point to him, I suppose, right now. Because he's the fastest driver on circuit right now. But of course, it all matters on the top 10 and also matters outside the top 10. So no matter who is the fastest, everyone gets a point for faster than both the top and outside the top. further down at the field. We've got Cam getting slowly caught by Konkoff on their 4th and 5th. Tech dropping back lane, and you're looking behind, by the way. Ali B, is he going to have a look up the inside? This would be like taking candy from a baby, surely. Look at this. Straight through, DRS, are activated normally as well. Down the inside, the Renault attempts to go around the outside, knows more enough there that trying that one would end in contact. Backs out of that one, and you can just see, look at the dirty air through the exit of that corner there. Absolutely atrocious there as Rich gets out the way. He didn't have to do that there. So that's very sportsmanship there from Rich, just getting himself out of the way. He is legitimately in position, but of course, he is still yet to stop, so to be fair, he's not really in that position. But nonetheless, being very sportsmanship, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah, no, good actions there from him. He knows that that's not his race to fight. Still haven't pitted then. I think he's waiting to see if there's a safety car. Perhaps that's why he's staying out as long as he has. Obviously, he has gained some positions so far in this race still. He's still up 8 places. Obviously, he started right at the back. So, you know, it's not out of the question, but I think he's certainly taking it longer than he should have done because he's losing a fair amount of ground now. But perhaps planning those double softs towards the end of the race. Maybe that's why he didn't do those qualifying laps. But at the moment, not doing himself any justice by dropping down the field quite quickly. And now he has JM all over his rear end. JM almost changing gears for him. And there he goes, flying through, and now JM back into the top 9. There'll be Apex Rogue, who will be the next one on the Mercedes crankshaft. Yeah, Rich then trying to go long. We got us out. Okay, please don't say so, Kiki. Oh, Kiki, he's gone off. He's dropped it around, and the man who he hadn't made a mistake so far this race has dropped it around. And you've got to feel so sorry for the man. Has he got damage? I hope not. I certainly hope not. He's coming in the pit lane. Has he got damage? Let's have a look. Doesn't look like it, so he might be a very lucky puppy dog, Len, but he's going to come in, get another set of tyres on, but another small mistake. And the man who scored 0 points so far this season continues his record, and I feel so sorry for him so far. He's having a torrid time. Yeah, not ideal for the Williams driver. Puts on the hard tyres, which he was hoping will now see him through to the end of the race. 15 laps then to go for the drivers out there. Now 8 seconds, the gap between 3rd and 4th places. So it really is becoming 2 different races out there. We've now got Apex Rogue all over the back of Rich, as predicted. And the Renault driver there following around the last corner. Rich does his usual thing, pulls to the right. And we've got Rogue firing the cylinders for the Mercedes. He was that close along the main straight, getting every single inch of slipstream that he could, but comfortably then up into the top 10 by turn number 1. So the Renault driver on a bit of a recovery drive now after that drive-through penalty for speeding.
We got who's that off? That's Williams. Oh. If it can go for bad, it can go to worse for Ricky, can't it? I said he was going to make a mistake earlier on. Now he's dropped it twice in a lap. So the poor man is struggling. He's getting out of the way of a few drivers as well. He knows he's just trying to get himself out of the way. That might have been what he was doing, actually. And wants to be careful he doesn't get himself disqualified. Stopping on a live race circuit, my friend. He's not ideal. He's going to get himself, you want to accelerate, you get yourself disqualified, my friend, if you're not careful. He might have got away with it, but that's very close. You normally get disqualified for that, wouldn't you? Oh, there.
Yeah, he's walking a tightrope. We've got some pit stop action. We've got a virtual safety car then, and I tell you who's timed this perfectly, and that was Cam and Kong Hofner. Immediately, the dive to the pits. I think they were pitting anyway, diving into the pits now, and they've basically got themselves a free pit stop. This is great timing by McLaren and Ferrari, and the rest of the field diving into the pits then to take what is effectively a free pit stop, because the top 3, oh no, sorry, Colin did make it in. Colin made it in, so it's a disaster for Racing Point now, as they're out there on their own, and they didn't get to make the most of the virtual safety car. Disaster.
Yeah, that is a massive shocker then to the top 2, as I just had to take a moment there just to breathe then, because Okiki just dropped it right in front of my eyes, and I feel so sorry for the man who has driven so well so oftenly, but so oftenly cursed by the commentator, as Rich has had a slam on the brakes bullery to stop him getting a penalty. This is all really just going to be a matter of how long does VSC stay out, because Well, right now, you've got to say, Colin is in a right shot of winning this race if he can close the gap. What the gap is 23 seconds. A pit stop window around here is what? 20 seconds? Let's see. Is the VSC going to stay out long enough? I think these guys might all get in the pit, you know. I think this might have worked.
Pitting, and there it is. It's gone.
It has gone.
It's going to be so close. All eyes on the Williams driver. He won last time out. Is he going to get 2 in a row? Well, this is his best opportunity now as the 2 Racing Points file themselves into the pits. Now, surely he's going to jump Neon. The double stack is not very quick. Casper leaves his box. We've got Colin coming round the final corner and onto the main straight, and I think he's going to do it. He flies past the start-finish line. There's Casper on the exit. Colin's going to be on the outside. It's going to be so close, and into turn number 1. Colin sends one round the outside, and he's got the move done, and he's into a net lead of the race.
Yeah, he most certainly has, but look, straight away then, here comes Casper, right down the inside then, let's see, can he do it? They almost tucked through turn 3, into 4, back to the lead we go then, and well, what we might say is it might be this then, back round the outside, can Colin do anything then? Late on the brakes glowing red hot, still right there through the exit. But what beautiful battling there, and Casper's no passing then, defends that one beautifully. Beautiful racing there between these two. But Colin, absolutely on the limit. But look, by the way, Neon is completely and utterly stumped dead right down the back. He's down in 7th. Down in 7th, I say. And that is absolutely the last thing he wanted to do. He was running in 2nd a few moments ago. But look here is Casper now has to just try and defend for all his might. Because look here is Colin now has the DRS, now has an opportunity to try and do something. DRS activated. Can he get a good exit? A spat exit through there, look. And Casper immediately bolts like a hedgehog out of a baton then. Through with the DRS and he's gone. Look at him. Look at Casper. He's bolted.
Yeah, unfortunately for Colin, he locked up into the chicane, and that just about did it for him. The big winner here is Cam and Kong. Look at them, into a net P3 and P4. Disaster for Neon. We said the double stack doesn't really work, and for Racing Point, it's absolutely gone awfully. It's gone absolutely awfully. He's fallen from 2nd, he's now in 5th. Disaster.
No, most certainly. I just want to say, by the way, just seeing in the chat, by the way, someone suggesting that was a deliberate class by kick. I've got to say that is most certainly a mistake there. He let the rears up. Unfortunately, dirty tyres, he did slow down. So there was no way that was a off like that one. So I do wish to say not to point fingers at drivers like that. He's the tier coordinator. He would not do something like that. I my most expectations, at least, of not. But I tell you what, though, inadvertently, that did help his teammate. And you might just say, though, that even if not, Colin is on an absolutely amazing strategy.
Yeah, it's really worked out nicely for the Williams team, and maybe deploying a little bit of a PK Alonso tactic, but we shouldn't think like that. We've got Colin then in the wheel tracks of Casper, but he's not close enough into turn number 1, and we could just have a straight dogfight now between these two for the win. We've got 11 laps remaining, and which way is this one going to go? I don't think I can call it at this moment.
Well, Casper's got the edge. He's led pretty much every lap of this race. Cloudy Balloons, meanwhile, is just being overtaken by JM then. So JM might be into 9th position, and you've got to say these two are not having a good day. Meanwhile, we've got well, that's awfully close, isn't it, between Kofner and Cam? Is Cam going to send one? Let's see. Is he going to get one on the inside? Well, he thinks of it. Half-hearted almost, Larry. Decided over the last moment doing that will not end well, but nice little battle then for 5th and 6th position. Behind them, 7th for the Racing Point. And you've got to wonder, Neon right now, he's probably going to be desperate to get past these guys, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And obviously that's a change for a net P3 as well. Kong getting past Cam, and Cam trying to come back at him.
Oh, look at this.
Kong making his way up
from the outside. Can he do it? No, he can't. He thought about it, didn't he? Neon is trying absolutely everything he can and everything in his power to try literally anything to get past. Meanwhile, up to the front too. Casper really having to defend though. Look at this, he's got the DRS, but Colin not trying to get the slipstream there. That is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Colin keeping out of it on that occasion. It's as close as he has been for the last few laps, so an interesting strategy on the ERS deployment. Casper has about half of what Colin has at the moment, so Colin perhaps biding his time and waiting for that perfect moment to strike.
Indeed, I'm just going to say to the chat, by the way, please keep it respectful. Here, we do not want to see comments that are calling other people stuff. We do like to maintain that, but nonetheless, we have a race on our hands right now for second and third. And that so far is Colin holding towards Casper, and up front, by the way, Ali B in a different world, you might say, right now, and he's going to drop himself right down the order. And he's one of those drivers I'm wondering, why did he not stop as Farf gets himself a penalty? And you've got to say, this can't be the best opportunity for Colin right now to get a position. If he can hit this last corner up and get DRS and get the slipstream, he has a right shot at it. Let's see then. DRS, ERS, let's see. He's going to go to the left side. Let's see then. Round the outside he goes there, down the straight. Gets into the position. Let's see, can he do it? Back into the lead. Yes, he can. And now it's all going to be about Casper. Can he recover? Can he defend? Can he try anything to get back into that lead where he had earlier on?
Yeah, I think Casper had to admit defeat on that one into turn one. He could see that Colin had the overspeed and just had to settle in behind the Williams driver, and he has now lost the net lead of the race. These two closing on Ali B as well, of course. He's still got to make a second pit stop. But Colin getting the move done at the time when he needed to, but now needs to focus on trying to build a bit of a gap. Keep it in the white lines, don't get a penalty, and keep his head. And the win will be his for two in a row as well for the Williams driver.
Most certainly indeed. Well, meanwhile, we've got a bit of a cork bottle right now, couldn't we say, for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, because look at this little battle here. We've got Farf, who is yet to stop. We've got Konkofner, Cap, Neon, Tech, JM closing up on this as well. Jonas not too far behind either. We could have a little bit of a barnstormer at this race. It might be a little bit of a slow burner, but you can see right now, as Ali B comes to the pit lane, Farf probably wants to dive out the way sooner because he does not want to get himself caught up in this battle, because the last thing he wants to do is have 3 drivers bearing at him at a million miles an hour. 4 drivers now bearing at him in a million miles an hour. Well, you can see right now, Konkofner wants that position. Konkofner says, I'm having that position, and Konkofner takes that position then round the outside. And now, Farf is going to have to look backwards. Now he's got Cam K all over his rear tailpipe, and he wants to be coming through as well. You'll have Neil coming through, Tech trying to come through as well. And if I was Farf right now, you could just say he is probably absolutely gluing himself and probably just dreading what's coming, because look at this, as Neon tries to go around the outside, tries to go up the inside, as Cam tries to go around the outside, and now Neon has a look up the inside again, can't quite do it. And now, this is where it starts to get messy. This is where it always could end up a little bit of tears, as drivers now starting to get himself right into this battle, and Cam needs to try and find a way past Farf now, or he's going to get himself all sorts of bother.
Yeah, interesting that Farf's been able to keep up with Kong. Kong hasn't been able to get a gap to the cars behind, which in turn is helping Farf, of course, with his defence. And certainly will down into turn 1 as well. Still within that second, and as long as he can be within that second across the DRS zone, which he is, but he decides to pit anyway, so no need to worry about that. And now Cam is going to have to turn his attention to Neon and Tech behind him, but Tech is too busy keeping his attentions on Neon, and we could see a change for what is P5 on the road.
Yeah, DRS v DRS, I'm afraid. It's so difficult to pass. I did some testing earlier on. By the way, Farf's come out next to Rich as well, who's still yet to stop. So the Mercedes driver is doing very intriguing strategies, by the way. Up front in the lead of this race, by the way, it's still Colin leading this race from Casper. The gap now 0.5 of a second. 10 seconds down to 3rd, 4th, 5th position. 6th with Tech with a penalty. You've got to wonder, by the way, who is going to make that mistake, though. Can Cam try and close right back on with the back of Konkofner? By the way, in terms of position change, Cam and Konkofner up quite a huge amount. Konkofner up 6 positions, Cam up 3. 8 positions for Ali B. The real loser in this race, Waitley, and we've also got Apex Rogue down positions. Colin, by the way, leads this race. He's up 3. But he's look behind. Though. Yeah,
he's
he is.
Struggling. Look at Casper. Look how close he is. Come around the final corner. This could be it.
Let's see DRS, then ERS, if he's got any of it. He's just saving it right now. He's playing mind games, I think. Look, he's just playing there. He's just sitting there. He's not using all the power. He's saving the ERS. He's going for a last lap lunge, I reckon, the last couple of laps, and just try and bolt it. As Ali B gets himself the fastest lap of this race. As well, in terms of penalties, by the way, only 5 drives of penalties, 6 for Tech, 6 for Apex, 3 for Jonas and Lamprint, and 9 for Farf. So every driver keeping themselves out of trouble, as Rich and Lamprint both pit on topic as well.
Look at Neon. Is he going to try one into turn 5? He's not, but he's almost firing the cylinders in that Ferrari. That Racing Point is so close. And surely he's going to have an opportunity into turn number 10, you would think, because he's always pushing the car around the track.
Oh, let's see. DRS activated. This straight, though, it's not very easy to overtake, so you have to really, if it's going to be an overtake, he's going to lunge it. And when he thinks about it, he's going for it then. Has he got the car stopped? He almost tried it then. Just as I say, you have to lunge it. Well, by howdy did he try it. It did work, and he almost got himself all sorts of bother cab. Good job there avoiding that one. But by howdy, was that a lunge and a half.
Yeah, he came from quite a way back, and I don't think he quite expected to have the run that he did. I think maybe he thought that Cam would close the door, but in the long run, it's left himself open to attack from behind from Tech 31. I think this could be quite an easy move for the Renault driver down into turn number 1. He pulls to the inside, and Neon tries to make it difficult for him, but he can't do it in the long run. But he's run a little bit wide, though. He's run a little bit wide, and that's all that Neon needs to get back up into P5.
Yeah, a little bit. That was a little bit on the edge there for Neon. A little bit of a weave right there. Tech 31, though, good job of avoiding it and getting up the inside. Ran too deep, though. Little bit of sneaky tactics there from Neon, but they all got away with it. Look behind, by the way. JM and Ali B are back onto this like a stab out of hell. Gotta say, Ali B in a good shot here, and I surely imagine JM will jump out of the way of his teammate here, because soft runner versus those medium tyres, that's going to be interesting, but that could have just been Cam's saving grace right there, as Lamprint a 3-second time penalty down the back again. Again looking to the front of this field at Casper. Is he got anything? Is he going to try and challenge now and start bolting it? Again, not using that overtake. Again, just waiting for it. Just sitting there, just waiting there. And you've got to wonder, is he running out of laps? Let's see, has he got a plan? Well, surely he's got a plan to try something. Meanwhile, Tech again going to go on Neon, and let's see, this time, pull to the right, again this time, down the inside, go. This time he's going to surely get the brakes done perfectly. Indeed he does. A little bit down on the brakes this time, but he covers off perfectly on the exit. And Neon back down into 6th position, because still could not pass him. Still could not find a position, and now he's going to have JM Alibi on his rear. And this is, got to say, has to be a very, very cold moment then for the man who was second in this race.
Yeah, and it's not really going very well for Neon. And there we go. There we get the hats getting out of the way of the other one. JM lets his teammate go, and Ali now has 4 laps to have a go at the cars in front, or he might have to give that one back.
Well, that's it. Well, you can imagine surely he's got the pace to do it, because he caught about 4 seconds to Castle in. Remember, these tyres can last about 7 laps. He's on 3-lap-old tyres, so he is going to be on that edge of tyre grip. He should be able to do it. Again, we'll just keep an eye on this lead, by the way, because here we go then. Look at this, Casper. Now he has an opportunity. Now he's decided the moment is to pounce. Back to the lead of this race then, round the outside of Colin, who now has to defend. And now look at him. He's got no ERS. Casper, he's been playing the tactical mind games, hasn't he? And now look, he's got all the ERS. He's got all the stuff to fight. Colin has nothing.
No, really, really well played there by Casper. Kept Colin just about in the zone where he thought he was comfortable, thought he was safe, and then pounced with just 3 laps to go. So 2.5 laps remain.
Ali B.
And we've still got a race in our hands. Colin hasn't fallen back too far. And further back, we've got Ali B all over the back of Neon.
Yeah, he almost had he had a look up the inside of turn 4. Neon just turned straight across him, saying, "You will not try anything like that on me, Sonny Jim, and you're going to try and get past one way or the other." Well, I'm surely imagining Ali B's going to get past in the end. Well, the question is, Where's it going to be? Is it going to be an opportunistic move into one of these corners? Because he's running out of laps. He's running out. And by the way, Casper is absolutely said, I'm going, because he's already pulled a 1 second lead out on second position. Incredible driving right now. But I tell you what, Ali B right now is probably hoping for that Tech can try and open that DRS. And open that gap a little bit. And Kofner, penalty, and that is, let's see, the gap is 1.7. That is the podium. And that could decide that position. Here comes Ali B then, down the inside. And you can never say this, by the way. Ali B's still got a shot at this podium if these tyres can last. And well, he'll have a lot of work. You have to overtake quite a few drivers. But, let's see. And now, let's see, Neon down 7. We have JM now trying to catch him. And it's just going bad to worse. And those tyres, you might just say, starting to go off a little bit, aren't they?
Do you remember when Neon was in second place in this race?
Yeah, it's not gone well, has it? He's been cruelly robbed, hasn't he? Because of that VSC, which came out due to Akiki's mistake, by the way. And I will firmly say it was just a mistake. It was not deliberate, what people are suggesting in the chat. And I just want to say it is disgraceful to think that someone would do that here. But Ali B on the back of Tech right now. And looking here, Cam, well, he might get my driver of the day, you know, because he's not had a podium so far this season. He's got a little bit of work for. He needs to not drop a second or get a penalty, but he is on course for that podium right now, isn't he?
Yeah, just 1 lap to go then, the final lap. Casper's got a good gap, and Ali B has got a good gap to the car in front of him as well. It was the right thing to do from JM to let his teammate go, as he's absolutely flying, and surely he's going to fancy a go at Tech 31 into turn number 1. He's getting up the inside. Tech doesn't put up much of a fight, but he's still there on the outside. And for the moment, Ali has to settle for P6, but he's still there. And is he going to try and move into turn number 4?
Let's see, Tech's going to have to slightly move to the middle here, otherwise he'll be in trouble. Thinks better of it, Lou does. Ali B knows exactly where he needs to plant this car. He'll have 1 or 2 more opportunities to do that. It'll either be down to turn number 10, or it's going to be a banzai move into one of these corners. Surely it's going to have to be a lunge into turn number 10 or bust. To be fair, looking behind, Neil not far behind either, so it looked like the chance for JM is gone. I'm wondering though, that he's too far back. Surely he'll be a level let die into this corner. Far too far back. Neon though might have a lunge up the inside as well. And bang, bang, bang through the corner. Neon lunges up the inside. Meanwhile, Casper through the last corner. He took the lead. He had a fight. Back into it. A mistake from his rival's teammate. Almost cost him it. Colin in second. Kofner is not going to get third. Cam through the last corner, and Cam is going to get a podium then. And finally, after so long of trying, he's got it. Kofner in 4th, Neon in 5th, Ali B in 6th, JM in 7th, Waitley a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane on the last lap as well, an unserved penalty for good measure. Tech in 8th, Jonas ahead of Apex, Cloudy Balloons then coming through the last corner, and oh dear, that's Lamprin. What has happened there?
I don't think that's gone particularly well for him.
Well, he's going to lose a position or 2. Well, there goes 1. Well, that's
fast, and that's a point gone as well, more crucially.
Yeah, that most certainly is a point gone. So, I'm not sure what happened there. He must have lit the rears up on the exit of that's turn 11, 12, 13, isn't it? And also, he's lit the rears up, 12th position. Oh there. What's happened there on the start line? That is Cloudy Balloons. That's across the line anyway. A bit of a contact there, and that's Farf in 14th position. But what an interesting race you've seen so far. And you can only say Ali B driver of the day, but I got to say my driver of the day personally has got to go to Cam. But what about you? Who is your driver of the day?
I have to say I'm going to give it to Cam as well. A really great performance to secure that P3. Had to keep with it. It looked like it had all gone when Kong got the place on the road, but Kong picked up a penalty with a couple of laps to go, and they had to make sure that they were within striking distance when the penalty was applied. So there we go, the Finn, the Welshman, and the American on the podium, and what a great race we were treated to in the end.
Indeed, so Casper wins from Colin, Cam in 3rd, Kofner had a Neon, Ali B, JM, Tech, Jonas, Rogue, Cloudy, Rich, Lamb, Farf, Waitley, Okiki, Speed, Risky down in 17th. And I might just say, by the way, do you have a question, though? As we'll have 2 questions to Cam today, as we both said it. Do you have a question to say to Cam?
Do I have a question to say to Cam? How did you keep your cool towards the end of the race? It was excellent stuff.
Indeed, and my question to Cam is, well, you've fought so hard this season. You've fought. Your first podium so far this season after, what you can only say in your own admission, a little bit of a struggle so far in the first part of the season. I said, are you hoping for something good earlier on? Well, you've certainly delivered. How are you feeling, and are you looking forward now to the rest of the season? Indeed, there goes our questions to both of our driver of the days, which is the same driver of the day, so he's get 2 questions today. And I hope he gets both of the questions, because I like giving lots of people questions. But of course, I must say, by the way, to my good friend there, Mr. It's Mike, isn't it, your name?
It is indeed.
Well, good. I almost forgot off the top of my head, but thank you for joining me.
Well, I'm impressed.
You've done beautifully. First time co-commenting with me. I must say you've done an incredible job. Of course, next week, we'll never know. We might see you next week. Who knows? Perhaps we'll find out, of course, as the chat implodes with thunderous roars of anger at stuff which I shall bring up later on to other people. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your beautiful commentary as well, Mike, jumping in at the last moment to help me. I've been Evil. Nooney's been Nooney. Until next week in Monza, take care. Goodbye.
Cheers.